I want to start this video by asking you a simple but brutal question. If your future were entirely determined by what you did today, would you be proud of what's coming? Would you smile when you look in the mirror tomorrow morning, knowing that today moved your life forward? Or would you feel that sharp, familiar discomfort, that nagging thought that you've wasted another day you'll never get back? I know that feeling. I've lived it. And if you're here now, maybe some part of you knows you've been drifting. Not because you're lazy, not because you're not talented, but because no one ever taught you the real cost of wasting time. Let me be direct with you. Time is not just ticking by. It's your life, your legacy, your wealth, your happiness. Every single hour you let slip through your fingers is a brick removed from the future you say you want. That's not a scare tactic. That's math. People don't become successful by accident. They plan, they act, and they start with today. You see, over the last 4 decades, I've studied and worked with some of the most successful entrepreneurs, leaders, athletes, and thinkers in the world. People who turned nothing into empires. People who were broke, broken, even laughed at, and became legends. And every single one of them had one thing in common. They treated every day like a seed, not just a routine or a to-do list, but a chance to plant the exact outcome they wanted for their future. The truth is, your future is not something you wait for, it's something you create. And you create it with what you decide to do today. This is not a motivational speech, it's a wake-up call. Because the longer you delay your plan, the longer you delay your power. Maybe you've already felt the cost of drifting. That uncomfortable feeling when you scroll for hours, then look up and realize your goals are still right where you left them. The pain of watching someone else succeed and thinking, that could have been me. The guilt of knowing your potential is greater than your results. That's the pain I want to rip out of your life today. Because once you build the skill of daily planning and ruthless focus, your life starts to transform in ways you can't even imagine. In this video, I'm going to teach you something I've refined over 40 years. Something that has turned procrastinators into producers. Something that helped me and thousands of my students go from struggle to freedom. You'll learn how to design your days with precision so your future becomes predictable, not chaotic. You'll discover how to prioritize the right tasks, eliminate distractions, and turn clarity into cash. And more importantly, you'll understand why today, yes, this exact day is the most powerful tool you'll ever have to change your life forever. But I'll be honest, this won't be easy. It takes honesty. Courage, the willingness to admit that what you've done so far hasn't worked. But once you see what I'm about to show you, you'll never look at your days the same way again. Now, before we dive into the heart of this message, let me ask you one thing. If you had a blueprint for turning your daily actions into unstoppable momentum, would you use it? If the answer is yes, write in the comments right now, I'm taking control of my future today. Because the moment you commit publicly is the moment you shift energetically. That small decision to engage isn't just about helping this video grow, it's about drawing a line in the sand. Saying, I've had enough of delay, I'm ready to move, and so let's move together. When I was in my early 20s, I was broke. No savings, no degree, no connections. I worked labor jobs, moved from city to city, and slept on the floor in cheap apartments because I couldn't afford a bed. People looked at me and saw nothing special. And honestly, they were right. I had no advantages. I didn't have any secret skills or special talents, but I had one thing that made the difference. I became obsessed with one question. Why do some people succeed while others equally smart, equally hardworking stay stuck? That question changed my life. I started reading everything I could. I studied success, failure, psychology, productivity, goal setting. I looked for patterns in people who made it big, and eventually I found the answer. It wasn't luck, it wasn't money, it wasn't intelligence, it was clarity. The people who got ahead were the ones who planned their lives, who acted with purpose, who treated each day like a mission. I remember the first time I made a written plan for my day. Not a big one, just a list of what I needed to do and when. And for the first time, I ended the day feeling powerful, not just busy, productive, in control. That one small habit set in motion a chain reaction that changed everything. Over time, I started managing teams, then companies. I built businesses, trained CEOs, worked with thousands of people across the world. And I noticed something fascinating. Every single high performer I met, without exception, had mastered one thing above all others. The ability to plan their day and follow through. That's not a motivational slogan. It's a documented, repeatable pattern. I've taught this to salespeople, athletes, parents, young students, millionaires, and people who were deep in debt. The results were the same. When people took control of their daily actions, they took control of their lives. This didn't come from theory. It came from decades of real work, real people, and real change. One of the core ideas I teach in all my seminars is this: every minute spent in planning saves 10 minutes in execution. That's not just efficient, that's transformational. Imagine what happens when you save hours per week just by getting clear before you act. You gain time, you gain energy, you gain results. But I also want to tell you the truth, most people won't. Planning isn't glamorous, it's not exciting, it's not sexy. That's why most people avoid it. They want the rewards without the structure. They want the results without the responsibility. But that's not how real success works. The people you admire, the ones who seem like they're always ahead, they're not luckier. They just have a better system. And that system starts with what they do each morning. So if you've ever wondered why your hard work isn't paying off, if you've ever felt stuck even though you're trying your best, if you've ever had big goals but never saw them materialize, let me be clear. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not your ability, it's your structure. And structure is something you can learn today. You don't need more talent. You don't need more motivation. You need a better plan. And the good news is you're about to learn exactly how to create one. But I'm not here to sell you a fantasy. This will require focus, discipline, daily action. But it works. It works because it's real and because you are more capable than you think. Before we move forward, I want you to think about this. If I, a high school dropout with no advantages, could change the direction of my life by learning how to control my days, what could you do with that same power? You don't need to change everything today. You just need to start, and starting begins with a decision. Take a deep breath. We're going deeper from here because now I'm going to show you how to break free from the patterns that keep you stuck and build the foundation of a future you'll be proud of. One of the biggest lies people believe, often without even realizing, is this: I'll figure it out eventually. That quiet sentence is more dangerous than failure because it feels hopeful. It sounds harmless, but it creates one of the most destructive habits a person can develop: postponement disguised as patience. Let me be honest with you. There is no eventually. Eventually never comes. You don't magically wake up one morning with your finances in order, your health back on track, your business flourishing, or your goals accomplished. Those things don't show up. They're built, and they're built on purpose. But for most people, their days look like this: wake up late, check notifications, scroll for half an hour, rush through the morning, react to whatever the day throws at them, then collapse at night feeling behind again. They confuse movement with progress, activity with productivity, urgency with importance, and then they wonder why they feel exhausted and empty at the same time. Maybe that's been your story. Maybe you've worked hard for years, but your life still feels chaotic. You've tried to be positive, tried to stay motivated, but deep down there's this quiet frustration. Why isn't it working? Let me tell you why. It's not because you lack drive. It's not because you lack talent. It's because you're working from the wrong belief system. You've been told that as long as you stay busy, things will work out. You've been told that planning is for perfectionists, that structure kills creativity. You've been told that as long as you have good intentions, your goals will somehow take care of themselves. All lies. Well-meaning, culturally accepted, seductive lies. And the worst part, they feel safe. They give you a false sense of progress. You feel like you're doing your best, but deep down, you know something's off. You know you were meant for more. Here's the truth. Hoping for success without planning your days is like expecting a plant to grow without water. It doesn't matter how fertile your mind is, how big your dreams are, or how much potential you carry. Without daily intentionality, nothing grows. Not confidence, not income, not purpose. Now I want you to notice something else. Look around your life. The results you have right now, your career, your energy, your bank account, your relationships are not random. They are the exact consequence of your systems or your lack of systems. And I say this not to shame you, but to empower you. Because if your systems created your current life, then new systems can create a new one. That's the shift most people never make. They keep trying to change their life without changing how they live their days. They set big goals on New Year's Eve, but forget them by February. They make vision boards and repeat affirmations, but never adjust their habits. And it's not their fault. No one ever taught them how to make structure feel empowering. They were told to follow their passion, but never shown how to direct it. So let me break this belief right now. Success is not about passion, it's about consistency. And consistency is born from planning. Passion might get you started, but without structure, it dies in the middle of the road. So if you've been waiting for motivation to strike, if you've been hoping for clarity to show up one day, if you've been assuming that working hard is enough to guarantee success, it's time to let that belief go. You are not behind because you're unworthy. You're behind because you've been operating with the wrong tools. And that ends today. In the next part, I'm going to give you a new lens, a new way to see your time, your habits, and your power. Not as random tasks or routines, but as the construction materials of your future. Get ready, because once you see your day differently, you'll never waste another one again. Imagine your life as a building. Every single day, whether you notice or not, you're laying bricks. Some people do it randomly. They throw bricks here and there, one day on the left, another day on the roof, a few bricks in the basement, none the next day. No blueprint, no system, just effort. And then they wonder why their life feels unstable. Other people, those who succeed consistently, treat each day like they're following a master plan. They know where the foundation goes. They know which walls support the structure. They don't rush to finish. They build carefully, intentionally, daily. That's the paradigm I want you to adopt from this moment forward. Stop treating your days like accidents. Start treating them like architecture, because time is not just passing. It's building something. The question is, are you building what you want or what you'll later regret? This is the moment where we flip the script. Up until now, maybe you saw each day as something to survive. Now I want you to see each day as a tool to build freedom, income, health, clarity, peace. Whatever you want, your day is how you get there. This new paradigm is simple. Success is not built in years. It's built in days. One after another, one plan at a time. When you accept that, your entire relationship with time changes. You stop being a victim of the calendar. You become a craftsman of your future. And I want you to sit with this truth. Planning is not control. Planning is freedom. You don't make a plan because you're afraid. You make a plan because you're ready. You're ready to stop drifting. You're ready to get out of survival mode. You're ready to reclaim your power. So here's the shift. Old mindset. I'll do my best and see what happens. New mindset, I'll decide what I want and build my day around it. Old mindset, I just need more motivation. New mindset, I need a system that works even when I'm tired. Old mindset, I don't have time to plan. New mindset, I don't have time not to plan. That's the kind of thinking that separates the top 5% from the rest. It's not intelligence. It's not talent. It's decision. I've seen people with average resources outperform millionaires because they had one advantage: clarity. They didn't wait for life to slow down. They decided to lead their life instead of reacting to it. You can do the same, starting now, and it doesn't take hours, just 10 to 15 minutes a day. A short moment of clarity that multiplies your results. Think about that. 15 minutes to design the next 12 hours. That's leverage. That's transformation. So now that you understand this new paradigm, we're going to put it into action. Because knowledge without action is just entertainment. In the next block, I'm going to walk you through the core of what I teach all over the world, the step-by-step method to plan your day like the top performers do. The same process that has helped thousands of people go from reactive to unstoppable. But before we go there, I want you to pause for a second and reflect. What kind of building have you been creating with your days? Are the bricks aligned with your dream, or are they scattered? You have the power to redesign it. And it starts right now. Now that you understand the paradigm shift, let's turn insight into structure. Because thinking differently changes nothing unless you act differently. So I want to teach you a method I've used, refined, and shared with thousands of people over the past 4 decades. It's simple, powerful, and it works if you work it. This is the daily planning process. Do not underestimate it because of its simplicity. What looks basic is often the most effective. Step 1, the night before or first thing in the morning, take 10 minutes to sit down with a blank sheet of paper. Write down everything you need or want to do that day. Not in your head, on paper. This is your master list. Don't filter yet, just unload it. Step 2, go through that list and ask one question for each item. What will move me the furthest, the fastest toward my biggest goal? This step requires honesty. You're not looking for what's urgent. You're looking for what's important. These are usually the tasks that create the most value, require the most thinking, and are the easiest to avoid. Highlight them. Step 3, take the top task on that list, the one with the highest consequence if done or not done, and mark it clearly as your #1 priority. This is what I call your frog. As I wrote in one of my most famous books, if the first thing you do each morning is eat a live frog, you can go through the rest of the day knowing it's probably the worst thing you'll face. Your frog is your most valuable task. It's the one that scares you, challenges you, grows you. That's the task that needs your best energy. Step 4, allocate time for it. Don't leave it to chance. Block out a window 90 minutes if possible, and protect it like a meeting with the president. Turn off notifications. Close the door. Get to work. If you do this, you'll get more done in one morning than most people do in 2 or 3 days. Step 5, after that deep work session, move down your list in order of priority. Never confuse being busy with being productive. Doing the easy things first only gives you the illusion of progress. Doing the hard things first creates momentum and confidence. Step 6, review and adjust at the end of the day. Take 5 minutes before you rest to ask yourself 3 questions. What did I accomplish today? What distracted me? What will I do differently tomorrow? These questions are not about guilt. They're about data. They help you build awareness, and awareness is the first step to mastery. Now, let me clarify something important. Planning doesn't guarantee that everything will go according to schedule. Life is unpredictable. Emergencies happen, but planning gives you direction. It gives you a compass when things get noisy. It puts you back in control. Most people operate in chaos. They're constantly reacting, fighting fires, juggling tasks. No wonder they're exhausted. Planning is the antidote to overwhelm. It doesn't add pressure, it removes it, because when you know what matters most, you stop wasting time on what doesn't. Let me repeat that. When you know what matters most, you stop wasting time on what doesn't. Now I want to address a common lie that creeps into people's minds when they hear this. I'm just not a planner. I'm more spontaneous. I don't like structure. Let me challenge that. You plan all the time. You plan what to eat. You plan vacations. You plan what to wear. The problem isn't planning. The problem is not having a process. What I'm offering you now is not about being rigid. It's about being intentional. You don't need to plan every minute of your life. But if you don't plan the key moments, your life will be filled with noise instead of results. The most successful people I've ever met are not the busiest. They're the most focused. And focus is a function of clarity. That's what this process gives you. So here's your action today. Before you sleep tonight, take out a sheet of paper and write down your tasks for tomorrow. Circle the frog, block the time, set the tone. You don't need a fancy app. You need commitment. And if this process sounds too simple to work, try it for 7 days and see what happens. Don't just listen to me. Test it. Let your life be the evidence. In the next block, I'll take you deeper into something most people never realize, the spiritual power of mastering your time. Because this isn't just about success. It's about who you become when you honor your days. Let me ask you something that may sound unusual for a moment like this. What if planning your day is not just a strategy, but a form of self-respect? What if writing down your goals, your priorities, your intentions isn't about being productive, but about telling the world, my life matters? You see, for most people, time is abstract. It's something they try to manage, something they chase, something they run out of. But when you become truly aware, when you begin to live deliberately, you realize something life-changing. Time is not just a resource. Time is your life divided into days. You don't lose time, you give it away. You give it to distractions, to obligations, to people who drain you, to fears that paralyze you, to routines that keep you numb. And one day you wake up and realize you've been busy living someone else's plan. And in that moment, something inside you either breaks or awakens. I've seen people break. I've seen them reach the top of their career and feel empty. I've seen them achieve goals, win awards, buy the house, drive the car, and still feel lost. Because what they lacked was not success. It was alignment. They had action, but no direction. They had speed, but no meaning. And that's why this message isn't just about writing to-do lists or waking up earlier. It's about returning to yourself. It's about realizing that how you spend your days is how you spend your soul. Let me say that again because it's not something you hear often. How you spend your days is how you spend your soul. Each day you plan is a statement of who you are and who you're becoming. When you prioritize growth, you grow. When you prioritize values, you lead. When you prioritize your mission, your life becomes a message. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming fully you. You were not created to drift. You were created to direct. You were not designed for confusion. You were designed for clarity. And clarity comes from attention. Attention to what matters. Attention to what you allow in your space. Attention to who you're becoming while nobody is watching. Let me tell you something that still gives me chills. Every great human achievement, every movement, invention, revolution, company, book, or breakthrough began with a decision made in private. A decision to act with intention. Not when everything was perfect, not when they were ready, but when they chose to treat their time as sacred. And you have that same power. You may not see it yet. You may feel ordinary. You may feel behind. But if you're hearing this right now, it means you've already decided to stop wasting your days. And that decision alone sets you apart from the majority of people on this planet. You're not behind. You're just at the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where you take back your energy. A chapter where your mornings are not rushed but rooted. Where your nights are not restless but reflective. Where your goals are not just dreams but priorities. And no, it won't always be easy. You will be tempted to return to chaos. You'll be pulled back by your old patterns. But remember this, each time you choose clarity over confusion, you are rewriting your future. That's what discipline really is. Not punishment, not rigidity, but self-love in action. Because when you commit to a plan, you're telling yourself, I matter, my future matters, my vision matters. And that message, repeated daily, turns into a reality no one can take from you. So take a deep breath right now. Feel the weight of this moment. Because from this point forward, you don't need permission to lead your life. You already have it. And tomorrow morning, when the world tries to pull you in every direction, you will sit down, breathe, and write. Not just a list, a blueprint for the life you know you're capable of building. Now, I want to speak directly to the part of you that's still hesitant. The part that says, I've tried before. I've made plans. I didn't follow through. I know that voice. I've heard it from CEOs, from athletes, from parents, from artists, from people at every level. And I've heard it in my own head too. But here's what I've learned. You are not your past attempts. You are your next decision. You're not defined by the plans you didn't finish. You're defined by the plan you commit to today. So let me ask you again, as clearly as I can, what would happen if starting tomorrow, you treated your day like it mattered? Not as a vague hope, not as something to survive, but as a sacred block of life. One you shape, one you lead. You already know the answer. Everything would change. You'd wake up with clarity. You'd work with focus. You'd rest without guilt. You'd walk into rooms with purpose. And people would notice your energy, your presence, your direction. Because most people wander, but you will walk with intent. And it all begins not with some big dramatic change, but with a small commitment. 10 minutes tonight, one list, one plan, one frog to eat. One day that builds the next. So here's what I want you to do right now. Pause this video, grab a piece of paper, write tomorrow's date at the top, and just start. You don't need to know everything. You just need to begin. And when you're done, come back here and leave a comment below. Tell me what your #1 goal is for tomorrow. Declare it. Make it real. Let the world witness your new chapter starting, because that's what leaders do. They don't wait for conditions to be perfect. They move anyway. If this message hit you, if something inside you lit up or woke up, then don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who's been drifting, someone who needs this wake-up call as much as you did. Be the reason their life changes too. And don't forget to subscribe, because this is just the beginning. I'm going to keep showing up for you with tools, with truth, with strategy, with heart. But I need you to show up for you too. This channel is not about hacks or trends. It's about transformation, deep, lasting, intentional transformation. And we're building it one powerful day at a time. So remember this, your time is your power. Your day is your tool. And your future is being built starting now. No more delay. No more drifting. You have the blueprint. You have the will. And now you have the plan. Let's build your future. One great day at a time.